At a family reunion dinner, my mother-in-law handed me a glass of wine with a smile. Nobody knew when I switched the glasses with her own husband. And by 10 a.m. the next day, her husband was already dead. But the truth would come out, and we would not escape the consequences. Before she became a daughter-in-law marked for death, Nenena was just a village girl with mango eyes warm, sweet, and golden in the sun. She grew up in Umuezoma, a town so steeped in myth that even the river was said to sing at night. Her mother, Mama Ifeoma, sold fried yam by the roadside, and her father, a palm wine tapper, often came home with laughter on his breath and stories in his mouth. They didn't have much, but the family had love. Real love. The kind that was heavy and whole. Nena was the girl everyone whispered about not because she was scandalous, but because of what the town Dibia, herbalist, once said. That child sees with both eyes and dreams with a third. She saw things. Not visions per se, but truth's unspoken tensions between friends. The shame a woman buried in her laughter, or the fear a boy carried under his pride. As she grew, this gift felt more like a curse. When her best friend Eber's brother drowned, Nena knew he would, days before. She had dreamt of a boy walking into a silent river and never walking back, but she said nothing. She learned to swallow what she knew, just like her mother swallowed tears when her father began staying out late with a woman named Onome. She learned silence. She learned obedience. And in the folds of all that silence, Nenena learned to pour her heart into soups and her rage into stews. That was how she escaped. But no amount of pepper in ogbono soup could prepare her for what would happen years later, far from the dust roads of Umuezoma. In Lagos, the city of smoke and speed, she would become the daughter-in-law of a woman who once danced bare-chested during the Ofala festival Adaura Ume, the fire-eyed matriarch of the Ume family, the woman who would smile over pepper soup while planning her death. Nena met Ifeanyi Ume during her NYSC year in Abuja. He was charming, a perfect Lagos boy in a neat white kaftan, driving a Lexus and quoting Chimamanda during arguments. He'd come to her corporate lodge for a community project and stayed for her egusi soup. "I could marry you for this taste alone," he'd joked, licking his fingers. She'd smiled. That smile would later cost her everything. They married quickly. Too quickly. His parents didn't come to the traditional wedding, and Nenena's mother noticed. "Are they ashamed of our dust?" She had asked softly, hiding her worry behind her chewing stick. Nenena ignored the signs, the stiff silence during phone calls, the awkward visit where Madame Adaora stared at her as if inspecting a housegirl's work. "You look humble," Adaora had said that day. No compliment, just judgment wrapped in velvet. Nena did what many good wives were raised to do. She endured. Even when the whispering started, Adaora never liked her. She would tell friends Nenena wasn't Uma material, that she was rootless, mannerless, cursed with witch eyes. But Ifeanyi? He was her salvation, at least in the beginning. He defended her, loved her, touched her like he was trying to memorize her into his bones. Then the miscarriages started. 3 in 4 years, each loss more brutal than the last. Nenena would wake up drenched in blood and fear, while Adaora would arrive the next day with a new pastor or herbalist, muttering things like, "I warned my son not to marry this water spirit girl." Ifeanyi stopped defending her. He began disappearing on business trips longer than necessary. When he returned, he'd reek of perfume and guilt. Still, Nena stayed. It was her own mother's funeral that brought everything to a boil. Adaora hadn't shown up, not even a condolence text. 2 months after, she invited Nenena and Ifeanyi for a peace dinner at the family mansion in Ikoyi. It was to be a reset, a healing moment. But Nena saw the way Adaora's eyes lingered too long on her glass of zobo, how she whispered something to the cook and laughed nervously. Something in her gut twisted. The dreams had returned the night before, dreams of glass shattering, blood and water, a man choking under the full moon. So, as the waiter poured drinks, Nenena smiled politely, lifted her glass, and swapped it with the one Adaora had poured for her husband. And then, everything changed. The moment her fingers brushed against the cold stem of the second glass, time slowed. Nenena smiled wide and full, the way Adaora liked, Her mother-in-law's sharp eyes flickered, just for a second, to the glass now in Chief Ume's hand, but she said nothing. Nena raised her own glass and toasted. To healing, to family, and to finding joy again. Her voice was steady, though her stomach coiled like an agitated python. She watched Chief Ume sip. Adaora didn't drink, she just watched. Her lips trembled at the corners, as if they wanted to speak but couldn't find the right mask to wear. The dinner continued. Pepper soup with catfish, jollof rice that had too much bay leaf, roast plantain. It all tasted like sawdust to Nenena. She couldn't stop glancing at her father-in-law, a man she'd only ever seen as a passive figure in Adaora's shadow. He laughed between bites, oblivious. Halfway through the meal, he coughed once. Then again, longer, harsher. Nena's blood ran cold. Adaora stiffened. "Are you all right, darling?" she asked too quickly, too sharply. Chief Ume waved it off, chuckling. "Ah, it's the pepper your daughter-in-law cooks like fire." But his eyes were watery, and a sheen of sweat began to bloom on his forehead. Nenena's heartbeat roared in her ears. She wasn't sure what Adaora had put in the drink rat poison, bleach. Whatever it wasn't fast-acting. That scared her more. Something subtle. Something that would show itself later, after blame had already been assigned. They finished dinner in tense silence. Chief Ume's hands trembled when he reached for the wine. Adaora barely touched her plate. Ifeanyi was on his phone half the night, texting someone Nena didn't need to guess who. After dessert, as she was helping the housemaid clear the plates, she caught Adaora staring at her, no longer with disdain. With fear. For the first time since they'd met, Madame Adaora Ume looked unsure. And Nena? Nena had never felt more in control. That night, the wind in Ikoyi howled like a grieving woman. It clawed through the windows of the Ume mansion, slamming shutters, rattling glass. Nena couldn't sleep. She paced the guest room like a restless spirit, heart dragging every moment through a pit of uncertainty. What had she done? At 2:13 a.m., there was shouting downstairs. She rushed out of the room in her wrapper, nearly colliding with the housemaid who was already clutching her chest. "Madam, something is wrong with Oga," the girl cried. Her voice cracked in fear, and in that instant, Nena felt her soul detach from her body. They ran. In the master bedroom, chaos reigned. Chief Ume lay on the bed, his mouth foaming lightly, eyes open but unseeing. His limbs convulsed like a dying cockroach. Adaora knelt beside him, crying not delicate, society lady tears, but deep, guttural sobs. Her wrapper was slipping off one shoulder. Her pride, too. "I told him not to drink that Zobo. I told him," she wailed. That one sentence hit Nenena like a slap. She'd expected denial, but not this. Not admission. Why would she say that unless the glass really was meant for her? A part of her had hoped naively that maybe it was all in her head, that maybe Adaora's hatred wasn't murderous. But this broke the dam. Adaora had tried to kill her. At a family dinner, under her own roof, Ifeanyi burst in, shirt half-buttoned, still groggy from sleep. He froze at the sight of his father on the bed. Jesus, what happened? Nena stared at him. Would he believe her if she said, "Your mother tried to poison me"? Or would he protect Adaora, like he always did, like every Yoruba son was raised to? Paramedics arrived in 20 minutes. Too late to ask Chief Ume what he drank, but not too late to keep him breathing. Barely. They wheeled him into an ambulance with oxygen tubes and blinking machines. The doctor muttered something about unknown toxins and organ distress. Nena barely heard. She was watching Adaora, who wasn't crying anymore. She was looking at her instead. Like a cornered animal. Like a woman who had realized her target still lived. And might not stay silent anymore. The Ume Family Hospital was a fortress, not a sanctuary. It was private, heavily gated, and too sterile in a way that stripped grief of any dignity. By morning, Nena sat in the waiting lounge, her head against the wall, hands shaking. She hadn't slept. Her thoughts circled like hawks. Did I kill him? Did I save myself? What happens now? She wasn't alone. Ifeanyi sat across from her, eyes sunken, jaw clenched so tight the veins in his temple pulsed. They hadn't spoken since they left the house. His silence screamed louder than any accusation. The doctor came out around 7 a.m. His expression was unreadable, the kind that delivered both birth and death without flinching. Chief is stable, but sedated. We managed to neutralize the toxin before further organ failure, but it was close. Too close. What kind of toxin? Ifeanyi asked. The doctor hesitated. It was not common. A blend. Something herbal but laced with chemical agents. A forensic team is taking a sample. We'll know more in 24 hours. Adaora stood nearby, her wrapper perfectly tied again, face powdered, lips painted. She looked every bit the grieving wife, but her hands trembled slightly. Who would want to harm my husband? She whispered, eyes glistening. Nena's throat tightened. She wanted to scream the truth, rip the mask off this woman who wore elegance like armor. But then she looked at Ifeanyi, his back rigid, his fists clenched. She saw it in his eyes. He didn't want to know the truth, not if it shattered his mother's name. He turned to Nenena, finally. Did you see anything? His voice was careful, too careful. She blinked, tears threatening. No, nothing. Adaora looked at her sharply, and for the first time, her lips curved into the faintest, coldest smile. That night, Nene had a dream more vision than memory. She was back in Umwezoma. Rain poured from the heavens like judgment, soaking the red clay roads. A black goat stood in the center of the market square, its eyes glowing gold. People surrounded it, shouting curses, throwing stones. A woman screamed, "This is the one, the cursed one!" And the goat turned into Nenena. She jolted awake in a hospital guest bed, sweat soaking her nightgown. The dream felt like a warning, or perhaps a memory buried so deep it could only be unlocked by fear. Growing up, she remembered stories her grandmother told her, of dear Ojudark people, not evil in the cartoon sense, but people twisted by betrayal, hardened by pain. Women who smiled while poisoning pots of soup, men who buried secrets with their ancestors. Every village had them, every family, a cursed line. Could Adaora be one? Or worse, could she? By the next morning, rumors had started to swirl in hushed whispers around the family compound. The housemaid had seen the glass. The cook had been paid off, but was now avoiding eye contact. Aunties called from abroad. The cousins in Surulair were gossiping. Someone even posted a cryptic WhatsApp status. Every calabash cracks when too much evil is poured inside. And through it all, Ifeanyi said nothing. He moved like a ghost checking his father's vitals, ignoring his wife. When Nenena reached for his hand at the hospital, he pulled away. "You swapped the drinks, didn't you?" he asked suddenly, late in the night, in the hallway with flickering lights. Her mouth opened, closed. His eyes narrowed. "Just tell me, did you?" Nena took a deep breath. "I did." The silence that followed was 1,000 knives. He didn't ask why. He didn't ask what she'd seen or suspected. He just nodded slowly, the kind of nod people give before walking away forever. That night, he slept at his friend's place. That night, Adaora came to Nenena's hospital room and smiled again. "You thought you were saving yourself," she said quietly, "but you only lit the match. Now we'll all burn." A week passed. Chief Ume lay in a hospital bed, drifting between sedation and fevered whispers. Adaora never left his side, praying, crying, humming old Igbo lullabies as if her voice could erase guilt. But her eyes never softened when Nenena visited. If anything, they darkened, like a storm that hadn't passed but only paused. Nena, on the other hand, had begun her own quiet investigation. She didn't trust the hospital, didn't trust Ifeanyi, and certainly didn't trust the silence that now wrapped the Ume compound like a funeral wrapper. So she did what her mother had taught her. She searched where no one else would. The Ume mansion in Ikoyi was large but old, with echoing hallways and secrets that lived in the walls. One night, while the house slept and Adaora was at the hospital, Nenena wandered into the study chief's favorite room, dark wood panels, books about commerce and politics. Family photos lined the mantel, but strangely, none from before 1990. There was a rug beneath the desk, thick, dusty. She kicked it aside. And there, staring up at her, was a trap door. Her pulse spiked. It creaked when she opened it. The air below smelled of age mildew and history. She descended into the belly of the house, where the light was dim and the truth even dimmer. It wasn't a storage space. It was a shrine. Carved into the floor was the Ume family or foreign ancestral staff passed down generations. Beside it sat bowls of red cloth, feathers, bones, and a journal. Nena picked it up, and on the first page, in Chief Ume's familiar handwriting, it read, "I made a pact in 1987 to save our name, to protect our line, but Adaora, she took it too far." The journal bled confession. Chief Uma had once been a desperate man. In 1987, a business collapse nearly destroyed the Uma family. Debts piled, enemies circled. He went back to Umwezoma for help, but not to bankers, not to relatives. He went to the river priestess. Her name was Mama Nwunye Nendemph, voice of the water spirits. People said she hadn't aged in 40 years, that her eyes were the color of the river under moonlight. She offered him wealth, power, survival, but at a cost. A life for a legacy. The firstborn daughter of every Ume generation would be cursed infertile, restless, hunted by water dreams. And in exchange, the Ume men would rise. They would never lack. They would rule in boardrooms and ballot boxes. Nena felt her heart break open. She was the price. She was the curse embodied. That's why the dreams came. That's why the miscarriages followed her like shadows. And Adaora? She knew. Not only knew, she reinforced it. Further into the journal, Chief wrote about Adaora's growing obsession with purifying the line. After Ifeanyi's birth, she was told never to allow her son to marry anyone marked by water. When Nena came along with her mango eyes and dreams she never asked for, Adaora saw her as the seed of ruin. That dinner hadn't been an act of desperation. It was a ritual, one meant to complete the purge. Nena slammed the journal shut, her hands trembling. Her womb wasn't the only thing Adaora wanted. Gone it was her very bloodline. She emerged from the basement, covered in dust, fury burning through her veins. Adaora was waiting for her at the top of the stairs. "You opened it," the woman said, voice like glass. "Now you understand. This family is built on sacrifices. Yours was just overdue." Nena stared at her. "You made your husband drink it." Adaora's face didn't move. "I didn't plan that part. But maybe it was the gods correcting my mistake." She took a step closer. "Be careful, Nenena. Spirits don't like interrupted rituals." And with that, she turned and walked back into the house, as if she'd only offered tea, not terror. Nena stood frozen. But inside her, something cracked open. Not fear, not grief, something older, something louder. She wasn't going to run. She was going to fight. It rained the night she left Lagos. Not the polite kind of rain, no. It was the kind that soaked you to your marrow, the kind that felt like the gods were mourning something you hadn't yet lost. Nena didn't tell Ifeanyi she was leaving. She didn't need to. Whatever fragile bridge they'd once stood on had burned the night. He didn't ask why she swapped the drinks, only if she did. Her bags were light. One duffel, the journal, and a bottle of palm oil for protection gifted by the old housemaid who had whispered, "Whatever they buried, it's calling. Don't answer empty-handed." As the bus drove from the cracked expressway into the dusty lanes of Umwezoma, the air thickened. Even the trees seemed to lean in closer, as if to listen. This was the town where her soul had been etched, where her mother's bones now rested, and where, if the journal was right, her future had already been traded for gold. The compound was quiet. Wild grass now overtook her father's yam mounds. The house had chipped paint and a crooked door, but it still smelled like homewood smoke and red soil. She went inside, lit a lantern, and waited. The dreams returned immediately. That night, her mother came in dressed in white, barefoot, mouth stitched shut with palm fronds. She pointed to the river and wept soundlessly. Behind her, the black goat from Nenena's earlier vision stood again, except this time it spoke. Undo the blood pact or become its price. Nena woke with blood on her pillow. Her nose had bled in the night. And outside her window, in the dark, a small bowl of bones and feathers sat where nothing had been before. Mama Nunye Ndem's shrine sat between two twisted iroko trees, veiled by fog and guarded by silence. Nena walked barefoot, carrying kola nuts, alligator pepper, and the blood-stained journal in a calabash. People said the priestess had died 20 years ago. People were wrong. She sat cross-legged on a mat of woven banana leaves, skin like melted bronze, eyes so pale they looked blind yet. Nenena felt seen to her soul. The shrine smelled of earth, salt, and something bitter. "You've come to collect a debt," the old woman said without looking up. "I've come to break a curse." The priestess chuckled. "Child, you are the curse. But yes, you can change the ending." She motioned for Nena to sit and place the journal before her. Then she dipped her fingers in a bowl of river water and began to chant low, ancient syllables that seemed to vibrate in Nena's bones. As the chanting grew, the water in the bowl turned black. The bones inside began to float. "You were traded," the priestess murmured, "by a man who feared hunger more than ghosts. But the woman Ada Orashi fed the pact too long. She turned protection into possession. And now the spirits are unbalanced." Nena's voice cracked. "How do I fix it?" The priestess paused. "You must offer back what was taken. Enter the river. Go alone. Before the full moon ends. And if your heart is not clean, if fear outweighs, love you will not return." Nena nodded, but her hands shook. One step into that river, and she was no longer just a woman. She was the unraveler of a legacy. That night, she lit a small fire in her mother's backyard, read the names in the journal aloud, and cried. She cried not just for herself, but for the daughters unborn, for the women silenced, for the bloodlines broken by ambition and coated in palm oil prayers. The next night, she would walk into the river, alone, and either end the curse or become its final ghost. The full moon rose heavy, swollen like a judgment about to fall. The river called Idamili Ma flowed with eerie calm, its surface glass-like, refusing to ripple even with wind. Locals avoided it. After dusk, they said it whispered the names of those it remembered. And tonight, Nena was going in to offer herself to its memory. She wore a plain white wrapper and smeared her chest with the oil the priestess had given her. Her hair was untied. Around her neck hung a string of cowrie shells from her mother's old prayer pouch. At the riverbank, she hesitated. The stillness was not peace. It was anticipation. The priestess had warned, "Do not scream, even when it hurts. The river hears lies. Cry, but don't beg. And above all, do not call the names of the living." Nena stepped in. At first, the water was warm, comforting. But with each step, it pulled more fiercely, like it knew her weight, like it had been waiting. When it reached her chest, the current vanished, and everything fell silent, even the frogs. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I am Nenana, daughter of Ifioma, marked, but not yours. I am here to return what was stolen." The river opened. One moment, she stood in water. The next, in darkness. No sky, no ground, only mist and voices, floating, familiar. "Mama," she whispered. Her mother stepped forward from the fog, still dressed in the white cloth from the dream, but this time, her mouth moved. She said gently, "You were never the curse. You were the seed of freedom. They feared what you carried, truth." Another figure emerged. A girl, child, faceless, yet Nenena knew her. One of the unborn, one of the three. "Your womb," her mother continued, "was never the grave. It was a gate, but they shut it with fear, not spirits." Nena fell to her knees, and then Adara's voice cut through the mist. "You should have died. That night at dinner, Nanena looked up, and there stood her mother-in-law, barefoot in the spirit mist, but younger. Before wealth, before bitterness. Her eyes not yet cold, but wild, hurt, angry. "What are you doing here?" Nena gasped. Adaora's voice cracked. "I was called, because I too am bound." The river had summoned both sacrifice and keeper. Only one would leave. The confrontation that followed could not be measured in minutes-only lifetimes. Adaora walked toward her, mist curling at her ankles like pleading spirits. "You think I wanted this life? I married into this curse. I bore it in silence. I carried it while Chief Ume climbed thrones and signed deals with blood dripping from his name. And when I birthed Ifeanyi, they told me the first girl I bore would never live. They were right. Her name was Amarachi. She died before her second birthday." Nena gasped. "I kept quiet. I let the family lie, told people she was a cousin's child, buried her without a name on her grave." Adaora's eyes glistened. "You came with your dreams, your womb, your river eyes, and I saw Amarachi. I saw everything I lost, and I hated you for it." Nena's voice trembled. "You could have broken it. You could have warned me." Adaora knelt before her. "I didn't know how to choose love over fear. I never learned. Forgive me, Nena. But if the river demands one soul to end the blood, take mine." A rumble shook the mist. The faceless girl appeared again, standing between them. Her voice was wind. "You both carry it, but only one is still bound." Nena rose. She walked to Adaora, whose shoulders now shook with silent weeping. And for the first time, she touched her not in hatred, but in pity. "I release you," Nena said, voice firm. "And I break this chain, not just for myself, for Amarachi, for the daughters who never reached light." The girl stepped forward and vanished into Nena's chest. The mist evaporated. The river roared. And suddenly, Nena was on the riverbank, coughing up water, alone, under moonlight. But she wasn't empty anymore. She felt it immediately. Something moved in her womb. It was dawn when Nena returned to Lagos. The city was just waking, but something inside her already felt fully alive. For the first time in years, she didn't feel haunted. Her steps were light. Her breath, whole. At the gates of the Ume family compound, the gateman's eyes widened. "Madam Nena, dem say you no go, come back again." His voice held more awe than greeting. She nodded, saying nothing. She had crossed the river and returned. That alone was its own language. Inside, Adaora waited. She was in the garden, hands deep in the soil, planting something purple and wild. Not her usual pristine self. No makeup, no gold bangles, just dirt under her nails and silence on her tongue. Nena stood a while before speaking. "You were summoned for a reason." Adaora looked up slowly. Her eyes were red, but her face was unguarded. "I buried Amarachi again last night. This time, I said her name out loud." A moment passed between them. Quiet. True. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But something tenderer. Recognition. "I'm pregnant," Nena whispered. Adaora's breath hitched. "Already?" Her voice cracked, barely above a breath. "The river gave back what was stolen." Adaora wiped her muddy hands on her wrapper and stood. Her hand trembled as she reached out, then hesitated. "I don't know how to be soft," she admitted. Nena stepped closer. "Then let the child teach us both." For a moment, their hands touched. And in that fragile touch where mothers and ghosts met, Adaora finally wept. Not as a woman who'd lost, but as one who might still have something left to protect. When Ifeanyi returned to the house that evening, he didn't expect to see Nena sitting calmly in the living room, back straight, eyes steady. "I heard you went to Umuezoma," he said, dropping his car keys. "I did." "And the baby?" His voice shook. She said nothing, only placed his father's journal on the table between them. "Read it." He picked it up with reluctance, but as he read, the color drained from his face. "You knew," she said quietly. "Not everything, but you knew something was wrong." He shut the book slowly. "I knew she hated you. I knew she believed you were cursed. I didn't want to believe it myself. You didn't believe me. I was scared, Nenna. My mother's madness has always ruled this house. I didn't want to choose between her and you, so I stayed in the middle. You know who stays in the middle of a river? She asked. The ones who drown. He swallowed hard. Did you go to undo the curse? I went to bury it. And us? His voice cracked. She stood slowly, her hand grazing her stomach. I'll raise this child in truth, not in shadows. If you can do the same, there may still be an us, but if you ever again choose silence over justice, the river will take more than just names. Ifeanyi sat down hard and wept. Upstairs, a faint voice called out. Chief Ume was awake, and he was asking for Nenena. The room smelled like antiseptic, rust, and regret. Chief Ume's skin was pale, loose, clinging to bones like fabric in the wind. He looked at Nena not like a father would a daughter-in-law, but like a man facing his final judge. She sat at the foot of the hospital bed, the journal on her lap. You're awake, she said coldly. I am, but not for long. His voice was raspy, barely a whisper. The machines clicked around him, measuring each breath with cruel precision. Nena didn't speak. She wanted him to feel the weight of silence, the kind he'd forced her to live in for years. Finally, he sighed. She told you. Adiora told me enough, but not everything. His lips twisted bitterly. She thinks she knows the curse, but she was never there when it began. You want the truth? He coughed. Blood touched his lip. I sold more than your womb. I sold my bloodline. Nenena's spine stiffened. Chief looked up at her, eyes hollow. I was young. My father had failed. We had land, but no power. I met a man Obadike, a cousin, long disowned. He said he had found an old ritual, a pact older than Christianity, older than kings. It promised strength, wealth, but it required something sacred. What did you give? Nenena whispered. Chief's eyes welled. Not what? Who? Silence fell heavy. My sister, Njideka, he croaked. Firstborn, 17. Innocent. I told her we were going to the shrine for a blessing. I left her there. I never saw her again. Nena's hands trembled. She screamed as they took her into the river, he whispered, voice cracking. That was the trade. Every daughter to come after her would carry her scream in their blood. And suddenly, Nena understood. She was not just cursed. She was carrying a soul never mourned. Njideka's voice, Njideka's rage, Njideka's echo. The miscarriages, the dreams, the girl in the mist. It wasn't just a spirit. It was Njideka. Nena sat on the hospital rooftop that evening, the journal in one hand, her unborn child pulsing like soft light beneath her ribs. Lagos buzzed below cars, sirens, life. But inside her, another city burned. One built from broken girls, voiceless women, and legacy painted in blood. She could go public, tell the press, leak the story, end the Ume name. She could destroy Chief Ume in headlines and whispers. But what then? The girl ghost would still cry. The river would still hunger. Instead, she lit a small fire in a clay pot, and one by one, she tore out the journal's pages. Each name, each ritual, each act of cowardice. She fed them to the flames. And as the smoke rose, she whispered, Njideka, this is for you. May your spirit be unbound. May your name rise above the water. She didn't need revenge. She needed release. And she gave it not for the chief, not even for Adaora, but for every unborn daughter waiting to breathe clean air. The last page curled in flame. Behind her, footsteps. It was Ifeanyi. I read it all, he said softly. I sat with my father. He begged me to keep his name clean. I told him no. Nena turned. You're late, she said. I'm learning, he replied. He stepped forward, placing a hand on her belly. Whatever happens, I'm here now. Not as Ume's son, just as me, if you'll have that. She didn't smile. She simply nodded. Below, the city roared. But above them, smoke danced into the stars. And from somewhere deep inside her, a voice whispered, "Thank you." 3 weeks after the rooftop fire, Chief Ume's obituary went live. No fanfare, no press conference. Just a quiet burial in Umuezoma, at his insistence, with a closed casket and no family name engraved on the tombstone. "He said his name already hurt too many mouths," the priest muttered, confused. Nana didn't attend. Neither did Ada Ora. Instead, both women remained in Laga silent, still, watching the world treat his passing like a line break in a newspaper no one finished reading. But something shifted after his death. Something stirred. It began with a phone call. The voice was young, male, nervous. "Please, is this Mrs. Nana Ume?" "This is Nanana," she said, heart slowing. "My name is Uzoamaka. I think I'm your husband's brother." Her breath caught. "What?" He hesitated. "The son of Chief Ume. My mother was a nurse in Calabar. He left before I was born. He never acknowledged me." Nana sat down slowly. "Why are you calling me now?" "Because a man came to my door yesterday. He had a journal. It was half burnt, and your name was the only one that hadn't turned to ash." The moment Nana told Adara about the call, the older woman collapsed to the floor, not from shock, but from something older grief reborn. "He told me he was faithful," she said between gasps. "He swore after Amarachi that he would never father another." "You believed him?" "I had to," Adiora whispered, "because if he lied about that, then what was left of my life?" For hours, she sat in the kitchen alone, staring at her hands that had buried a daughter, fed a poison, buried a journal, and now held nothing. That evening, she asked Nena a question she'd never imagined hearing. "Will you go to meet the boy?" Nena looked at her, really looked. And for the first time, she saw not a villain, but a woman too long bound by the idea of love, by loyalty to a man who bartered souls like cowries. "I will," Nena said softly. Adora nodded. That night, she went to her room, packed a single suitcase, and told the driver to take her to a convent just outside Enugu. Before she left, she pressed something into Nena's palm. It was a small anklet, made of white beads. "For the child," she whispered. "If she's a girl, give her a name that ends in laughter." "Why?" Adora's smile was tired, but real. "Because too many girls in this family have only known silence." And then, without ceremony, she walked out of the Ume mansion and didn't come back. Uzoamaka lived in a modest flat on the outskirts of Calabar, all cracked tiles and creaking floorboards, but it smelled like peace. Nenena arrived alone. She didn't bring Ifeanyi. This meeting had nothing to do with him. When the door opened, the boy standing before her had his father's eyes, but not the sharp, calculating version worn by Chief Ume. Uzo's eyes were soft, searching, like someone who had spent his life trying to prove he deserved to be seen. He was 21, a university student studying marine biology, and he'd never met his father. Not once. "He paid my mother off," Uzo said, voice steady. "Told her not to contact him, that he'd settled her privately. I didn't even know his name until last year when she died." Nena listened, but her heart ached. He reminded her of the unborn boys she'd dreamed of in ghost fragments, boys who never reached breath, never got to ask who they were. "I thought I was nothing," Uzo continued, staring at the singed journal on the table between them. "But then this man came to my hostel, a cleaner. He handed me this. He said, 'Your sister will find you soon.'" "Sister?" Nena whispered. Uzo shrugged. "That's what he said." The fire that had scorched the journal hadn't touched one page. It was an old photo, faded, torn at the corner. 2 children, one with plaited hair and mango eyes, the other with a crooked tooth and those same hollow brows. On the back, Ndeka and Obidike, Umuezoma 1971. Obidike, the cousin, the one who had introduced the pact to Chief Ume, the man who still lived. That night, Nena couldn't sleep. The weight of the name Obidike pressed into her chest like a stone. He was the first rot, the first liar, the one who whispered blood pacts to desperate men in exchange for legacy and control. She realized then, killing the curse wasn't enough. The mouth that started it was still alive. At dawn, she dressed in black. Uzo insisted on coming with her. "He ruined my mother's life too," he said. "Let me be there when you end this." They journeyed back to Umwezoma, not to the river this time, but to the forest. The priestess had told her long ago, "Some evil doesn't haunt the river. It haunts the land, because it thinks it owns it." They found Obidike's shrine deep in the forest, overgrown, but alive. He was there, old, bent, skin like tree bark, but his eyes sharp, still dangerous. He smiled when he saw Nenena. "I knew you'd come," he rasped. "Did you know I'd bring your sins with me?" she answered, placing the journal and the photo at his feet. He didn't flinch. "Your grandfather begged for power. I gave him a river. What he did with it, not my concern. You fed them death and called it wealth." He shrugged. "The world only remembers men who build houses, not the ones who build hearts." Nenena's voice rose. "Then remember this, Obidike. I will burn your shrine. I will rewrite your name. I will tell the girls what you did." He laughed then, a dry, cracked sound. "You can't stop a legacy, child." But she already had kerosene in her hand. She lit a match. And as the flames caught, as the idols crumbled and the soil spat up blood-soaked secrets, she whispered, "I'm not stopping it. I'm ending it." Obidike didn't scream. He didn't cry. But in the fire, she swore she heard Njideka laugh. Nena returned to Lagos with a soul stitched in ash and a child that refused to be quiet within her. The doctors called it normal the kicking, the wild movement. Some babies are just more active, they said. But Nenena knew better. This was no ordinary stirring. The baby moved with intention, with rhythm, like it heard a drum only she could feel. And every night, as the baby kicked, so did her dreams. On the 7th night after burning Obidike's shrine, Nena dreamed again. She stood in a room with no ceiling, only stars. In front of her were 2 cradles sewn draped in white lace, the other in deep blue cloth. A woman stood beside each one. To the left, Adaora, veiled in white, her face softer now, aged by grief and stripped of cruelty. To the right, Njideka, the sister who had been sacrificed, her face youthful, glowing, eternal. They said nothing, only waited. And Nena, in the center, realized what they wanted. Choose the child's name. Choose the legacy it will carry. Choose which woman the child belongs to. She looked at Adaora, saw the sorrow that now wrapped her like a second skin. A woman who tried too late to love, but tried. She looked at Njideka, saw the justice in her stillness. A woman who gave all and asked nothing. A woman who never got to raise a daughter of her own. The baby kicked. Nena stepped forward. She took a white bead from Adaora's cradle and a feather from Njideka's. She whispered, "My child will carry both your names but belong to neither of your fates." And the dream dissolved into stardust. When Nena woke, Ifeanyi was in the living room, clutching his father's will. His eyes were bloodshot. The TV played muted political news, but he wasn't watching. "I need to tell you something," he said. Nena stood still. "I've been offered the board chair at Ume Holdings." Silence. I turned it down. She blinked. "Why?" He looked up. "Because that seat was built on buried girls and burnt prayers. I don't want our child to wear a name dipped in poison." She walked closer. "And if the child is a girl?" His voice caught. "Then she'll know her father didn't need her to be a son to be proud." Her hands trembled. "And me?" "If you'll have me," he whispered, "I'll build something with you from nothing. No shrines, no ghosts, just soil and sunlight." Tears filled her eyes, not from pain, but from something close to mercy. "Then be here," she said, "fully. No more standing in the middle of rivers." He nodded, then slowly fell to his knees before her. placed his forehead gently against her growing belly. And the child kicked twice. Strong. Certain. Alive. 3 months later, under a crimson dawn, Nenena gave birth to a girl. She was born silently, no cry, no wail, just eyes wide open, the color of storm clouds over red clay. The midwife gasped. "She's not new," the woman muttered. "This one has come back." The child let out a single, breathy sound then, not a cry, but a humming murmur like water brushing stone. Nenena wept, holding her to her chest. Not from fear, not from exhaustion, from reverence. "She came through all the flames," Nenena whispered, "and didn't burn." 2 weeks later, the naming ceremony was held not in a church, not in a mansion, but in Nenena's childhood compound in Umwezoma. Under an udala tree with women pounding yam, a goat tied nearby bleating lazily, and a light rain falling soft, forgiving. The name was whispered to her by the priestess of the river in a dream 2 nights before. Amara Jadeka. Ama Raji Deka. May grace return what was taken. Amara for Adaora's lost daughter. Jadeka for the sister whose bones never rested. One name for peace. One for justice. Adaora did not attend the ceremony, but a parcel arrived wrapped in hand-woven cloth. Inside, the original anklet Amarachi had worn as a baby, and a letter. "For the granddaughter I never got to raise. If you let her laugh, then I have done enough." Adaora. Nena wept. She held her child high for the village to see, and the clouds broke open with sunlight. The day after the ceremony, the visitor came. She walked up the dusty road barefoot, her wrapper the color of yellow hibiscus, a black scarf tied loosely around her dreadlocked hair. She looked no older than 30, but her eyes were centuries deep. She stopped outside the compound and waited. Nena stepped out, the child on her hip. "You are?" The woman bowed slightly. "My name is Chinonso. I was Adaora's cousin. From her father's side. I lived in Port Harcourt most of my life. Adaora sent for me. Before she left." Nena narrowed her eyes. "Left?" The woman nodded. "She died 3 nights ago. In the convent. She asked them to bury her with nothing but water and salt, and to send me here, to return this." She handed Nena a cloth bundle. Inside, a river stone, smooth as glass, engraved with Adaora's name in Nsibidi. Below it, a single sentence etched by hand. "Let this child never forget that peace too is earned." Nena sat down slowly, holding the stone. The wind shifted. Chinonso sat beside her. She carried her pain like a crown, but she died lighter because of you. Nenena whispered, "I don't know if I forgave her." "You didn't need to," Chinonso said softly. "You broke the circle. That was enough." From the compound, Amara laughed, the first full-bellied laugh since her birth, and every woman around stopped what they were doing. Even the wind held its breath, because that laugh sounded like a soul returning home. It began with a letter, a thick white envelope stamped with the gold emblem of Ume Holdings, delivered not by mailman, but by courier, hand to hand, eye to eye. Nena opened it slowly. At first, the language was polite. "We are pleased to inform you." Then it sharpened like a dagger, that, in accordance with the Ume family trust of 1995, all direct descendants of Chief Ifediora Ume are to be legally registered as part of the family estate, including new offspring and heirs. The meaning was clear. They wanted Amara to claim her, to number her among them, to bind her name to the same dynasty soaked in betrayal and river pacts, to turn her into a line on a ledger, a placeholder in a will. Nena felt something cold bloom in her chest. She turned the letter over. On the back was a copy of the family tree. Her name was there, but misspelled. Deliberate. Nine Uma, status, estranged. She called Ifeanyi. He arrived within the hour, sweating and breathless. "I didn't approve this," he said. "The board, those vultures saw the obituary, saw the baby naming on social media. They want to restore brand integrity. "She's not a brand," Nena whispered. "She's not your father's atonement prize. She's not their symbol." "I know," he said, "but if we don't respond, they'll take legal action. Demand paternity proof. Try to draw her into the fold." Nena looked at him long and hard. "Then let them come. Let them see what I've become." 2 days later, Nena walked into the Ume Holdings boardroom with Amara strapped to her back. She wore a plain white Iro and buba, her hair threaded and wrapped in coral beads. She looked nothing like the young girl who once trembled under Adaora's roof. She was now a woman who had entered the river and returned. The board stared at her gray-haired men, 2 women in silk suits, lawyers with sharpened pens. "If you're here to dispute blood," she said calmly, "you'll need more than a file. You'll need a mirror." The chairman, a rotund man with skin too tight around his temples, leaned forward. "This is not personal. We simply need to document every Ume child for the family trust." "She is not a Ume," Nena said. The room blinked. "She is Amara Njidika, daughter of survivors, not beneficiaries. And if you try to place her under a name forged in rituals and silence, I will take you to court with enough fire to drown every inch of your dynasty." There was a pause, a long one. One of the women cleared her throat. "But legally, her birth certificate." "I already filed a correction," Nena cut in. "And if this board files a single paper claiming her blood, I will release the truth about Chief Ume, about the shrine, about the price paid in unborn daughters." Silence. The kind that weighs more than thunder. She leaned forward. "My daughter will never inherit a curse, only a choice." It arrived in a battered wooden box, tied shut with twine and wrapped in faded fabric that smelled of rain, camphor, and something older ancestry. No return address, only a tag. "To Nena Ifeoma, from the house before Ume." Inside, at first glance, was nothing remarkable. A rusted bracelet, a torn letter, an old black and white photograph. But Nena felt it. A pulse. Like the box remembered things, she didn't. She opened the envelope first. The paper crackled like it hadn't seen light in decades. The handwriting was trembling but strong. "Nah, if you are reading this, then the river has kept its promise. But there is something you must know. The Ume curse did not begin with Chief Ifediora. It began when our own blood was divided. My name is Ezine. I am your grandmother's elder sister. Your true lineage does not come from the Ume tree. You are the child of the twin branch, the one they tried to burn. You are not their echo. You are their reckoning." Nena's hand trembled. She pulled out the photo. It showed 2 girls' twins, one smiling wide, the other holding a baby with mango eyes. The back read, "Ezine, Ifeoma Umuezoma, 1961. Her mother never spoke of a sister. Never. And then she saw the bracelet, bronze, cracked, marked with insipid glyphs that shimmered faintly under light. The central symbol was one she remembered from her childhood dream, a hand rising from water, holding a flame. A memory returned. Her mother, when she was small, holding that bracelet and whispering, "One day, you'll wear this not for beauty, but for proof." She had always thought it was just a lullaby. Now, she knew it was a warning. And a key. 2 days later, Nena received a call from Chinonso in Umwezoma. The tone in her voice was sharp, breathless. "Ne, the Ume archive house is burning." "What?" They said it was faulty wiring. But that building has stood 60 years untouched. All the birth ledgers, the marriage contracts, the family tree maps. The land deed all of it is going up in smoke. Nenena's hands shook. Was anyone hurt? No, but they waited until the priests left the village. Until Adaora's burial was finished. Someone planned this. That night, Nena couldn't sleep. The fire was no accident. It was a purge. The Ume dynasty was trying to erase the trail to wipe out what little record there was of the old crimes. With Chief Ume gone, Adaora buried, and the truth scattered across memories. They wanted to rewrite history as though the curse never happened. But they forgot one thing. Nena was still alive. She packed the box from Ezine, the surviving journal pages, and the photograph. She locked them in a fireproof case. Then she called 3 journalists, one from Lagos, one from Enugu, one from an international agency. When they asked what the story was, she said only, "A name, a child, and the ghosts a family tried to drown." The article broke on a Sunday. Front page, full spread. The River Pact, Bloodlines, Betrayal, and the Hidden History of the Ume Dynasty by Chika Duru. Photos, testimonies, the scorched journal pages, a quote from the old housemaid, a whisper from Chinonso, a blurred photo of the shrine, now ash. Nigerians reacted like lightning on dry wood. Some called it ancestral nonsense, others cried vindication, and some demanded the Ume Holdings Board step down. Overnight, the company's stocks dipped. Investors withdrew. Old beneficiaries crawled out of the cracks, whispering about the girls who never got names, the mistresses who vanished, the wives who birthed silence. But truth is never clean. 3 days after the article broke, someone broke into Nenena's home. She was out shopping with Amara. When she returned, the windows were shattered. The box from Ezen gone. No police report helped. Political, the officer said. Sensitive, my hands are tied. And then came the letter, slipped under her door in the dead of night. Truth must be earned, not sold. You have opened doors we sealed in blood. Close them or bury what's left of you. No signature, just the old Ume crest now marked in red ink. That night, Nena couldn't sleep. She held Amara close to her chest, her eyes fixed on the door. The lights never turned off. 1,000 thoughts swirled. Her child, her safety, her own voice. How many people were watching her now? Then Ifeanyi came home. He had been gone for 2 days. Handling fallout, he said. The offer came in a sleek black envelope, delivered by a woman in a navy pantsuit, whose smile was as empty as a grave. No name, no explanation, just a card. Ume Legacy Trust, restitution proposal. 200,000 held in Amaran Jadeka's name. Condition, full non. Disclosure, retraction. Nena read it 3 times. They wanted silence, not justice, not apology, just erasure. If she signed, Amara would be rich, protected, insulated from the noise, the legacy, the haunting. There would be enough to give her the world schools, land, options. But it would mean lying. It would mean standing before the world and saying, I imagined it all. The shrine, the curses, the unborn girls, the dreams, the fire. It would mean betraying Njideka and her mother, and every nameless woman lost in the river's mouth. She burned the envelope that night, watched the flame eat every corner, every word, every promise dressed in blood money. But the world noticed. Within hours, anonymous threats flooded her inbox again. If she wouldn't be bought, she would be silenced. The knock came at 3:21 a.m. Soft, measured, intentional. Nena had just soothed Amara to sleep. She froze. Then another knock, louder. She picked up her phone, ready to dial Ifeanyi, but paused. She hadn't spoken to him since she left their room 4 days ago. Something in her heart didn't trust his hands anymore. She crept to the door, peeked through the slit. No one. But on the doorstep, placed like an offering, a single calabash. She recognized it immediately, the same kind used in the shrine Obidike built, the same kind that once held bones and river feathers. Inside it now, a human finger, wrapped in cloth, and underneath it, a note. This is only the first. Stop speaking, or the child inherits your debt. Nena didn't scream. She wrapped Amara tighter, locked every door, and made one call not to Ifeanyi. To Chinonso. I need you to come to Lagos, she whispered. I'm already on the way, Chinonso replied. And I'm bringing something I found hidden under Adiora's bed before she died. What? A confession, written in her hand. A long silence passed. Meet me at dawn. And Nanana don't leave the house. But by dawn, Chinonso had disappeared. By 7 a.m., Chinonso had not arrived. By 9 a.m., her phone went straight to voicemail. By noon, Nena was calling every number. She had neighbors in Umuezoma, the convent near Enugu, even a distant cousin who once saw Chinonso at a trade fair. Nothing. It was as if the ground had opened and swallowed her. Then came a voice note from an unknown number. It was just a sound. Breathing. Heavy. Panicked. Then a voice, faint and dry. "They found me. The ones from the board. They have my phone. I left the envelope inside the brass drum at your mother's shrine. Don't trust anyone." A crash. The recording cut. Nena fell to her knees, clutching the phone like it had burned her. She could feel it now, the circle tightening. The same hands that burned the archives had now reached for Chinonso. And they wouldn't stop there. That night, Nena wrapped Amara in a carrier sling and traveled in silence back to Umuezoma, wearing dark glasses and her mother's old scarf. She moved through the village like a ghost. People greeted her, but she didn't reply. Her eyes were fixed on one place only, the shrine of her mother. It stood quiet, humble, but whole. She entered barefoot. It smelled of herbs, dust, and dried tears. The brass drum sat near the altar, almost forgotten. She opened it. Inside, wrapped in oil-stained cloth, was a thin brown envelope marked in Adaura's unmistakable script. "For the one who dared to undo me." The confession was written on hospital paper, the letterhead of the convent clinic. The ink faded in parts, smudged by fingerprints that had clearly shaken as they wrote. "If you are reading this, then I am dead. I will not say I deserve your forgiveness. I fed a curse to protect a legacy that was never mine to begin with. The first time I tried to end the pact was after Amarachi died, but Obidike threatened me, said if I told anyone, he'd make sure the river took Ifeanyi next, so I played along, until you came. You reminded me of Ndeka. You smelled like her, carried her grief in your womb, and I hated you because I saw what I buried crawling back to life. I gave the poison to the cook that night, told him to mix it in your zobo. I watched you lift the glass, and then watched my husband choke on it. That's when I knew the river wanted me next. I died the moment you walked into that river and came back, but I also lived again, because when I saw Amara's eyes, I remembered love, not power, love. This letter is not to make things right. Nothing can. But I write it because no one else will. Burn this. Or don't. But whatever you do, let the child laugh." Nena sat still for a long time, the wind from the shrine doorway brushing her cheeks like fingertips. Behind her, Amara stirred. And in that moment, for the first time since the death threats, since the river, since the shattered plates and the silenced names, Nena began to cry. Not softly, deeply, violently, like a woman who had held too many ghosts in her chest for too long. She folded the letter, pressed it to her heart, and whispered, "I won't let them win. Not with fire, not with silence, not with fear." Then she kissed Amara's forehead, and somewhere far away but close enough to feel a door closed. And a curse finally died. The envelope was white. Again. But this one bore the court seal. Lagos State Family Court Petition for Custodial Review. Filed by Ume Holdings Legal Division. Subject: Child Custody Inquiry, Amaranjideka, Ifeanyi Ume. The words blurred. Nena gripped the letter so hard her knuckles turned white. She read the lines aloud, voice shaking. Given the recent media allegations, criminal accusations, and unstable living conditions of Ms. Nena Ifeoma Ume, this petition seeks to place the minor child, Amaranjideka, under temporary protective custody pending a psychiatric and domestic safety evaluation. They weren't coming for her now. They were coming for Amara. Ifeanyi arrived an hour later, breathless, confused, terrified. "I didn't authorize this," he said, gripping the paper. "I swear on my mother's grave." Nena looked him in the eye. "That's not enough anymore." She turned away. He followed her to the balcony. Then I'll go to court with you. I'll testify. I'll denounce the board." She shook her head slowly. "No, you're tainted. They'll say you're conflicted, bought, and maybe you are." "Then what do you want me to do?" he cried. She turned, her face calm, cold. "Disappear. Let me fight this alone. If I lose, she goes to them. If I win, it's because I didn't need a man to save her." He didn't argue. He knew he no longer had the right. He left that night, and for the first time, Nena stood in her home truly alone. But not afraid, because the river inside her had stopped flowing in fear. It was fire now. The hearing was scheduled for the following Friday. But 3 days before, it rained. Heavily. Violently. Legos shook under it, gutters flooded. Power lines sparked. Trees bent at the knees like old gods bowing. That evening, someone knocked. Slow. Wet. Measured. Nena opened the door, holding Amara on one hip and a cutlass in the other. But it wasn't a threat. It was Chinonso. Soaked, limping, face bruised, but alive. Nena gasped, rushing forward. "You're how?" "They locked me in a supply room at a remote church compound," Chinonso whispered. "One of the board members is a cousin to the convent administrator. When they found out I had Adeora's confession, they tried to make me vanish quietly." "You escaped?" "I made them believe I repented," she grinned weakly. "Said I wanted to take final vows. Once they dropped their guard, I found a phone, called a bike rider I used to know. I came here straight." She pulled a USB drive from her soaked bra. Backup copy. Adeora's confession. Her voice. Recorded on my phone before I left Umwezoma. It's all here. Nena's knees buckled. She didn't cry this time. She simply held Chinonso's hand, the strongest woman she knew, the one who never made a promise she couldn't keep. And for the first time since the summons arrived, she believed she would win. The Lagos State Family Court was a tall, tired building with rusted metal detectors and guards who looked like they'd seen too much and cared too little. Nena entered wearing plain ankara and a string of white beads around her wrist, the only thing she'd kept from the river. Amara was with Chinonso in the waiting room, guarded by 2 women from a domestic survivors group Nena had quietly joined. She wasn't going to lose her daughter without a war. The courtroom buzzed reporters, social workers, bored lawyers in gray suits, smirking. She ignored them. Then the judge walked in. Female, middle-aged, eyes like broken mirrors. "Justice Nwafor," the clerk announced. Nena stiffened. That name N Waferit rang in her bones. And when the judge looked up and locked eyes with her, there was something there. Recognition, fear, resentment. "Proceed," the judge said coldly. The board's lawyers went first. They painted her as unstable, delusional, obsessed with river cults, ancestral hallucinations, conspiracy theories about the Uma family claims she cannot legally prove. The lead attorney barked. She admitted to drugging a drink that nearly killed her father-in-law, confessed to destroying corporate archives, and involved her child in dangerous environments rooted in superstition and paranoia. Nena said nothing, until the judge turned to her and said, "Mrs. Uma, this is your one chance to speak. Use it wisely." She rose slowly. No shaking. No rehearsed words. Just truth. Nena stepped forward, eyes locked on the judge, and spoke. "I didn't try to poison anyone. I tried to survive a curse placed on women like Mion girls born with dreams and wombs not meant to carry power." She held up the USB. "This is a recording of Adeora Umayor cousin, Judge Nwafor, confessing everything. The shrine, the pact, the death of her first daughter, the poison in my drink, the curse placed on every girl born into the Ume name." The courtroom gasped. The judge's face turned white. "Your cousin helped build the lie you now want to uphold from the bench," Nena said, voice steady. "So let me ask, are you judging me? Or protecting your family?" Dead silence. Even the lawyers froze. Nena continued. "My daughter is not an heir to a throne built on screams. She is not the fruit of wealth. She is the seed of rebirth. And if you take her from me, know this: I will become the very river you tried to drown me in." She turned slowly, her voice rising. "I am not here to be pitied. I am not here to be erased. I am here because no other woman came back from that river and told the truth, but I did." A pause. "And then I came back with fire in my lungs." She dropped the USB on the clerk's table and sat. Even the courtroom's walls seemed to hold their breath. Justice Nwafor stood, eyes hollow, then spoke. "This court will reconvene tomorrow. All materials submitted will be reviewed. Dismissed for the day." Nanena walked out not just as a mother, but as a voice no fire could burn. The courtroom was packed the next morning. Media trucks lined the road outside. Inside, the board members whispered prayers in tight suits. The social worker who had observed Nena and Amara for weeks sat in the corner, eyes watery. Chinonso sat with Amara on her lap, rocking gently, whispering lullabies. Nena wore white again. Not for mourning, for war. Justice Nwafor entered slowly, her face unreadable. "All rise," the clerk called. They stood. The judge sat. A beat. Then her voice rang out. "In the matter of custody and child welfare regarding Amara and Jideka Ifeanyi Ume." After reviewing the confession submitted, the history of abuse and ritual manipulation, and the clear evidence of both familial and institutional conspiracy, this court finds no merit in the petition for removal. Custody remains solely with Mrs. Nena Ifeoma. Case closed. Gasps filled the air. But Nanena didn't cry. She sat still, still as the river the day she stepped into it. When she turned to Chinonso, she only whispered, "We did it. We didn't win. We ended it." But the judge wasn't done. Her voice lowered, barely audible. "Mrs. Ume, a word in chambers. Alone." Nena followed. The walls in the private office felt too tight, too full of ghosts. Justice Nwafor poured 2 cups of tea. She didn't drink hers. "I was 14 when Adaora's first daughter died," she said. "My mother said, 'It was a price.' I asked, 'For what?' She said, 'For the kind of name that doesn't die in this country.' She looked up. I never believed any of it until you." Nena stayed silent. The judge reached into a drawer and handed Nanena a paper, her resignation. "I can't clean what I stood in too long," she whispered. "But I can stop standing." They did not hug. They did not cry. They nodded, 2 women standing at opposite shores of the same river. Then Nanena walked out, Amara in her arms. Free. 1 year later, Nena stood at the banks of Idemili Ma, her feet in the water, her daughter beside her. Amara had grown full cheeks, loud laugh, sharp eyes that blinked like they were watching the spirit world dance. She tossed stones into the river, giggling. Nena held the last thing she had kept sealed for months. Adeora's bracelet, the bronze one that carried all the names never spoken. She walked waist deep into the river, held it up, and whispered, "Jideka, Amarachi, Mama Ifeoma, Adaora." The water shivered, and then, just for a second, laughed. Not cruelly, softly. The bracelet sank, and Nena came out of the river not soaked, but washed. That night, as she tucked Amara in, her daughter touched her cheek and asked, "Mommy, why don't we have a big house like the others?" Nena smiled. "Because we don't live in walls." "Where do we live?" She pointed to the girl's chest. "Right there." And in truth, and in the names they tried to bury, Amara nodded like she understood, and slept. Outside, the wind blew gentle. No ghosts in it anymore. Just memory. Just freedom. Just peace.